Our next speaker is Aprameya Radhakrishnan, a serial entrepreneur and the co-founder and CEO of Koo App, an Indian microblogging and social networking service app, also known as the Indian Twitter. He is an angel investor in 35 startups in India. Previously, he was also the founder and director of Taxi for Sure, which was later acquired by Ola. He holds a bachelor's degree in engineering in electronics and communication from the National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, and an MBA in general management from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Aprameya Radhakrishna will now speak on social media in India, for India and the world.
Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to speak to all of you today. I'm here to talk about our own journey of Koo and what we think is the future of social media, not just for India, but how we are going to be taking it to the world as well. So to begin with, I just want to lay some foundational principles around how social media is structured. All of us use so many apps. Why are there so many apps and why are we all on all of them, right? It seems like that from the distance, but when you actually look deeper, every social media network has a different flavor to it, right? And whether you can talk to everybody under the sun or you just talk to people you already know actually defines one aspect of it, right? So the first division amongst all the social media is whether it's closed, open or semi-open, right? If you see, closed networks are those where you will need a handshake to happen, which means on Facebook you will send a friend request and the other person has to accept it and then you can talk to each other, right? On LinkedIn, same thing happens. You will send a connect request, the other person accepts, then you can talk or you are connected. WhatsApp, you should know both of your phone numbers to be able to connect and communicate, right? Semi-open is, what Instagram started as is open network, but then they've introduced a feature where you could block your profile as well from others openly following. So it's open as well as closed. So it's moved towards a semi-open structure. And Twitter actually is, about thoughts and opinions, and they are open. Like you can follow anybody, you can have anybody in the world follow you, and hence it is open. Okay. Also, what makes social media very unique, each one very unique, is the reason to connect, right? Each network has a reason to connect, and hence, because of that reason, the networks that are formed are very unique. So for example, on Facebook, you're adding only family and friends, right? If you post something on Facebook, you will get a lot of love. You will never hear somebody scream at you, yell at you on Facebook, because it's all known networks. But if you do the same thing on, example, Twitter, it's an open network. All kinds of people follow you. People who agree with you, disagree with you. And the flavor of, you might post the same thing on both networks, but what you receive in return as a reaction is different. What you say on each platform is also different because of that. So on Facebook, you would say, I've gone on a holiday, I got married, I had a child, all of those things, right? And at a certain frequency. But on Instagram, you will actually say what you ate, where you went, who you hung out with, which is more lifestyle, right? And on LinkedIn, it would be only professional, like, what your thoughts are on your career, somebody else's, future in their industry, all of those things. So this is very important to understand, right? Each social network has a unique mood on the platform, which defines who you connect with, what you say, and the frequency at which you say something, right? So in the world of so many social networks, where does coup fit in, right? So when we started off with an insight when one of the users who was using our first product called Vocal to answer questions on that platform said, I don't want to just answer questions, but I want to also express whatever is in my mind. That got us thinking. Expressing what I'm thinking out to the open is something that Twitter is already doing. Why isn't this user using that, right? And then we found out that what Twitter has been able to accomplish so far is 1% of India who's predominantly speak English, which is most of us in this room, including most of us in this room, to connect with each other. So it is 1% of India talking to each other, right? 98, 99% of India doesn't come there because they're uncomfortable with the language being used, the topics being spoken, the people they can connect to. They don't relate to all of that, right? So that is the open space that we saw. We said 99% of India unable to express themselves on the open internet is a huge problem. All the voices in local languages are actually stuck in WhatsApp groups today in our country. It's just in small, WhatsApp groups. It could be 20, it could be 200, it could be 500, but it's still small. The fundamental freedom of expression, where I can say anything and anybody can hear it, is still not available to majority of the country, right? And that is what we're doing. And this is what we've unleashed, right? So if you see, segment A is celebrities, public figures. Segment B is the English educated achievers of the country. Both of these segments, segment A and B, actually are 1 or 2% of the country today. And them being connected in a network is happening. But segment C is what we have unleashed, right? Conversations between segment A to segment C in their language. So a Virat Kohli talking in Hindi is not happening anywhere else apart from coup. And hence, he is able to express himself to a whole new bunch of people and get reactions. And if you look at it, C is probably the guys who matter in terms of votes for a politician. These are the guys who actually stand in a queue to buy a match ticket, a queue to buy a movie ticket, right? And that is what segment A kind of realizes, that these are the people who are die-hard fans, or the people, the numbers who really matter. And hence, they have started talking in local language to segment C on our platform. And reactions are very different, right? Virat Kohli gets out for a duck. The English-speaking Indian will say, okay, this guy doesn't know how to bat, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But segment C will actually be emotional, saying, he is our God, I will support him no matter what he does. So these are two different types of audience that we have in our own country. And this is what we've unleashed. And we've been able to get all kinds of people on the platform, right? In politics, every kind of party is on the platform. Media, all media houses are on the platform. Spiritual leaders, sports persons across cricket, kabaddi and others. Entertainment folks are on the platform. And what we are actually doing is not like, we're just hoping that this just grows, right? We have a method to the madness. And broadly, there are three ways in which global social media can be disrupted even today. One is, and the broad term that aligns all of these three principles is inclusiveness, right? The first one is we built a platform that is inclusive in terms of language and culture, right? So we want everybody to be talking, we want everybody to be connected, and include everybody in daily dialogue, right? Second is include countries, which means today when a global social media says my way or the highway to most countries across the world, we want to be in a place where we respect the country's way of working, because they have a leader, elected or otherwise, and they basically, every country wants to be able to operate without any disruption from any other entity. So the digital disruption cannot happen in a country which is trying to progress further, right? And that is the second principle. Third one is, today a lot of, every social media platform actually doesn't share anything that they earn with their users, right? And that is the third principle around which we are going to be disrupting global social media. So just a few broad aspects. What is important when we say we have localized our product, right? It means that a Tamil-speaking person should be able to easily meet other Tamil-speaking folks, right? That is when a very tight Tamil network is formed. It is not being formed on other networks. So we are, one, making it easy for you to find other people, other handles, whether it's news or otherwise, in your language, which means we're forming a very tight network of people in a community. Second, we're multimedia, which means we understand that people want to express their thoughts and opinions in multiple ways. It could be text, photo, video, live stream, all of this is available, so that language communication is not dependent only on text, right? Third, even expressing in each of those languages, if you type with your English keyboard, you can actually, write out the lipi of that language very easily. So all of that we've done. And because we're connecting this network so well, the Tamil folks will be able to hashtag trend what is relevant to Tamil Nadu more than anything else, right? It is not a national or international trend. It is a Tamil Nadu trend. It is a Kannada trend. It is a Bangla trend, right? So hyper-local hashtags is a reality that has happened on Coup, right? And so I was talking about, celebrities talking to, people in local language. We are all habituated to talk in English. Like, I'm addressing the whole gathering in English. If you give me any social media, I will start typing in English. So we've all become English citizens of the internet, right? Now, we cannot change that habit, because we're all used to thinking and communicating in English. And so we've built tools, right? So on Coup, you can actually continue your habit of expressing in English. But at the same time, because we have multiple communities, you can choose the communities you want to say that to. And we will actually help you quickly translate that and suggest what that would mean, what that would say in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Malayalam, whatever language it is. And with one press of a button, you will be able to now expand your thought to the broader base of India. Your one thought, which used to go only to the English-speaking India, which is very, very small, that one thought can now go to multiple communities of different languages. And you will get a different essence of what it is. We were doing a sentiment analysis on the term Agniveer. And we saw that 60-65% positivity was happening in Punjabi and English on the term Agniveer and related terms. But in all other languages across India, the positivity rate was 95%. Right? So this kind of an insight is possible because we are behaving the way India behaves as a platform. India is a country with multiple languages and multiple influences on each language. So, Coup as a platform has become embedded into the wider audience of India. We have now become 40 million downloads, 10 million monthly active users, 1.5 million login every day. And this is growing, right? We've just about hit inflection. And second is, so we've spoken about localized product. And there are so many other countries like India. Indonesia has multiple languages, very small English-speaking population, similar to India. 80% of the world doesn't speak India. So that localization, inclusiveness of the product is very important. Second is policy, right? Multiple countries have a problem with global social media, right? And that's becoming more and more evident as we see things progress. So what we've done is basically said, we will respect the local law of land wherever we are. We've started in India, we respect India's local law of land. If you go to Indonesia, we will respect theirs as well. We won't take an Indian way of working to Indonesia, because that's not what they want. But if you look at it, that's what we are being forced to do. So the more decentralized we become, while technology unites us, but technology should also respect every country as an entity and how they operate. And that is the approach that we will take, right? So for example, we've opened up our algorithm. How you see hashtags, how you see people, how you see your feed, everything is written in plain, simple English. You can go through it on our website and give us feedback. We'll take it up. We're the first ones to actually provide a voluntary self-verification system on the platform. If you want to say, I'm a real person and take what I say seriously than the others, you can actually do it on Coup. No other social media platform provides for that, right? Some of the other things, so we published very detailed criteria on how eminent folks get verified or not across segments, right? So various things that we keep doing to win the confidence of the users who are the center of it all, and the local country that we will operate in. Right? And we've made a lot of headlines around all the positive stuff that we've done around policy. So we've spoken about two ways we will disrupt global social media, starting with India and then other countries. The third way is how we monetize, right? So if you look at it across all social media, all of us use it as users and creators. They all take time and attention as investment from the users and creations as investment from the creators. They take both of this, become a very valuable platform for an advertiser to advertise, right? They make the dollars or rupees from the advertiser, but never share it back, despite having taken time and attention and creation from the users. So what we are going to be doing is actually distributing. So if we make 100 rupees, we will actually allocate 10, 20 rupees to go to the user, because they are the ones who have given us time and attention to have attracted the advertiser. And we're going to give tools to the creators to be able to attract that money that we've given to the user back to the creator. So the more the creator engages the user on Coup, more they will attract monetization opportunities, right? So this is the system that we will use to basically disrupt in our third way, which is inclusive monetization, right? So we've included people with language and culture, we've included countries with respect given to their local law of land, and we're including monetization, right? We're using inclusive monetization. And we've not even done the third one yet, monetization, but we've already become the #1 app on thoughts, opinions, updates, news in the country, right? And in terms of engagement, we're sky high, right? So That is what has made us the most preferred app for news and updates. And we will take this strategy to the rest of the world. Every country, there are two types of countries that we will focus on. One is a country that has multiple languages, right? Another set of countries are those who have a problem with global social media, right? And say you have your own social media. We will say you want to become digitally Atmanirbhar. India has become, please take this and become yourselves, right? So this story of coup is about inclusiveness. It is not about 1% of India talking to each other. It is about the entire country being involved in daily discussions. And we want to take this to the rest of the world. Thanks a lot. Any questions? Yeah.
This monetization, isn't it the same thing what Twitter is doing and disrupting the whole country, like the countries after countries, like USA, Trump invaded the whole thing. So all those questions are on Twitter. Because of Twitter and monetization, because those people were getting some monetized rewards, that is why those things happened in US. So if we encourage this monetization on coup, aren't we actually supporting that kind of a thing?
No, so this is very different. So what I meant by global social media not distributing or sharing is, there are, when you
like
scroll
fake
through,
accounts and all those kind of things I was referring
no, that's a different issue. So
Yeah.
monetization is about when you see an ad in your Facebook feed, for example.
Coming.
Facebook has made money by showing you that ad, but they haven't given you anything. So they've made 100 rupees, but you made 0 out of watching that ad. Yeah, but even making a 3-second impression on you also costs money. So we have, what we're planning is to build an economy around which you will have a coup wallet, you will keep getting something or the other based on your engagement, how many times that we have benefited from you, you will get a portion of that. Yeah.
Hi, Anand here. Hi, at the back.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a wonderful app. I'm on it, and really fantastic to see an Indian doing so well. I have 3, what you may call devil's advocate questions, if I may. The first one is, if you remember the story of email, how it
Yeah.
started from Hotmail, and then there was MSN, and then there were so many others. Then came the inflection point of Gmail. They were offering something that was so totally different and not available on the other apps that people switched en masse to Gmail.
Yeah.
Why should someone who's on Twitter switch to coup, if you can say that in one sentence? And number
Yeah.
2, do you also regulate like Twitter does, for example, on freedom of speech and expression? Do you block and suspend people like Twitter does, or do you leave it to the Indian laws and jurisdiction? And 3, I was talking to someone in the audience here, which is predominantly, thankfully, right-wing and rational and logical, and they were saying, we won't come on coup because na Pakistani honge, na leftist honge, todenge aur peetenge kisko?
No, so 3 questions. So we basically want everybody on the platform, right? It takes time. Like, even after Twitter kind of opened up in India, everybody didn't join on day 1. Everybody joined one after the other. And there'll be moments in time where different types of people will come. So yes, we need everybody to have healthy discussions on the platform, and we encourage, like, as I already said, there are people from across the political parties on the platform already discussing, right? Second, we actually, don't block off your ability to express entirely. Like, blocking an entire account from saying anything at all is not part of our community guidelines, right? So we will not be doing that, as in other social media might behave that way. And your first question was again?
Why would they join?
Ah, okay.
First question was
So,
that
yeah.
Gmail offered
Yeah.
1 GB of data, so people
Correct.
think that Twitter is
Yeah.
not offering. Thank you.
So, I've spoken about it. One, if you want to keep talking to 1% of India, then you shouldn't join. But if you want to talk to the 99% of India, then you should definitely join coup, right? We have a tendency to always like to live in a bubble. If you want to break that bubble and get your voice out to the larger audience of India as English-speaking Indians, I think coup is the right place. And of course, we are following the law of land. That is one of our strategies for across the countries. Like, it's not that it's only for India. We will do that otherwise. And our monetization is a very unique proposition that we are introducing. Yeah.
My name is Akshay Singh, and I'm on Twitter as well as on Coup. My only question to you is about the verification of the individual. And to an extent, I see that Coup also follows a similar standard of Twitter when it comes to verification. Don't you see that as it is for an Indian individual, the verification criteria should be little better, and every individual who is worthy enough should be verified to keep check on the trolling and a lot of other stuffs.
Yeah. When did you last see our verification policy?
A couple of months back.
Couple of months back. So, as I was saying, we are the only ones to have published why we give a yellow tick, which is the eminence verification tick, to anybody. Like, nobody else even says why they give or don't give. So we've actually Indianized the whole verification system. We also realize that there are more people who are prominent locally who might need a verification, right? Because they're eminent in offline society. So the principle that we follow is, if a person has become eminent in the offline world, then coup is just a reflection of that, right? There will be very few guys who become, also famous because of coup, which will be a set of people, and they will also get. But respecting who is eminent in the offline world is a very important part of our eminence strategy. So we have made a first principle attempt to move away from any guidelines that the global social media has done so far. And your second question was? That's it. Okay.
In the interest of time, please limit your question to 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for such a brilliant seminar and presentation that you have made. So actually, my question was regarding, like we have seen, because of the Russia-Ukraine war, the need for a homegrown social media ecosystem is really important, because at the whims of the American and the other Western governments, we could just be deplatformed or straight out blocked. Like the entire country can be blocked. So my specific question is, what are the problems in effectively and quickly getting up a homegrown social media platform? Like, let's say an Indian Instagram or an Indian Facebook running, like what are the obstacles that we have right now in the current business environment? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think social media generally is a very tough business. Like, you need so many things coming together to make it successful, right? And in Thoughts and Opinions, there was an open space of languages, and that's why we are relevant and we're growing fast. In a space where, Facebook is a friends and family network, to create a parallel reason to connect with the same friends and family, there is no momentum or reason for a lot of people to shift onto a different platform on one day. The only reason is, okay, you block that and hence there is another, right? But I don't think, as a democracy, we would want to, stop somebody from operating without reason to enable something locally. So I think social media, every little nuance makes a new social media network. In a world of Facebook, Instagram came in and said, you apply a filter on your photo and make it better looking, and hence they became a social network themselves. In a world of Instagram, Snapchat came and said, I'll make your photos disappear when you send, and hence became a social network. So if you look at it, there is an evolution of need in amongst people, and As long as we can keep finding Indian reasons to build our own social network, I think we will be able to create multiple. And our Indian need is language predominantly. Yeah. Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Vishwanath. I have my own website on yoga.
Yeah.
I post regularly on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The problem I'm faced with is that I have to join multiple groups and post on multiple groups, but unfortunately, the reach within India is very limited. I get barely 10% continuous engagement. So does Coup solve any of these problems? I'm not on Coup.
Yeah, so if you're producing content that is relevant for language speaking folks, like Hindi is our largest, like 60% of our platform is actually Hindi. So if you're talking in Hindi on Coup, you will definitely benefit a lot.
I'm on English. I'm in English.
Got it.
I write only in English.
Understood. So one, you can post what you're saying and you can use our multilingual cooing feature to translate what you're saying on a coup into Hindi so that it becomes relevant for people in Hindi also to watch the video or content that you're putting.
But how do I reach out? How will it automatically go to many people?
Yeah. So
Okay.
when you post in multiple languages, English, whatever you've said in English on Coup goes to the English community. What you say in Hindi goes to the Hindi. What you say in Tamil goes to Tamil.
So it's like a newspaper.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Yeah. Hello. First of all, I want to say it's a wonderful job you're doing with increasing accessibility. It's something that's new and something that we don't see in India, let alone anywhere else in the world. So I just want to congratulate you on a fantastic job
Thank you.
that you've done. My question is, in an age of regulation within social media houses and so on are becoming more and more susceptible to accountability. We've seen this in the case of Nupur Sharma, for example, who was disproportionately hounded using social media, using things like WhatsApp, dog whistling on Twitter, and so on, where a lot of inflammatory content was produced and therefore one woman was singled out. When you want to increase regional focus, do you not think that, for example, you might become more susceptible to things like this? And in the absence of some degree of censorship, I'm wondering as to how you'd go about dealing with calls for, if not explicit calls for violence, some forms of like implicit dog whistling that could lead to violence.
No, so, yeah. So here, we go by the local law of land broadly, right? If something is going to lead to offline violence and there are takedown requests from the relevant body in the country, then we will take it down. There is no doubt in that at all. The problems come up when it is a gray area case, right? Like you don't know whether the law states that this is not acceptable in the country or not. Then there is 50% of the audience which is accepting it, 50% which is against it. So those are cases that even the largest social media are still grappling with. I think it's so, every situation is so different from each other that you'll only have to deal with each situation as it happens. So can you be quick? Can you be smart about what you do in all of those? And so what we are doing is forming an advisory council of ex-judiciary, ex-media, ex-politician and all of these guys come together and they have a combined view of what might happen in this situation. So those are very few situations that we'll have to deal with in a customized manner.
Maybe we can take one last.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So, from your vision perspective, for Coup,
Yeah.
do you have something equivalent to what is WeChat for China? To make it into a super platform where we do not have to go to any other place other than Coup?
Now, as I said, there has to be an organic reason to exist. Like you can't come, unless there is a ban, you can't come and replace something. Like it's just human behavior. We are a species of habit. Like if you're going to open WhatsApp, you're going to keep opening WhatsApp. To replace WhatsApp in India, you'll have to get the whole population of WhatsApp in India to shift to another platform on one day. It has to happen at that moment. Only then will it get replaced. Otherwise, it won't get. If 10% of WhatsApp goes into another platform, that doesn't replace WhatsApp, right? So the organic reason for coup is local language. And that's much larger. So it's a very unique opportunity for us. And we're taking full advantage of it. For platforms like a Facebook, WhatsApp, I think they're heavily entrenched. The one big way is banning, which we won't, like, it's not in our philosophy to do. The other way is, find an organic reason for everybody to shift at once. Or create a localized behavior. Like, okay, there is something about only voice or voice first WhatsApp. Now you're different from what WhatsApp is doing, very relevant to India, and that might work. So, yeah.
Technology point of view, are you compatible with Twitter?
Yeah. So we've actually built whatever Twitter has built in 14 years in 2 years, right? And we've introduced language aspects of it.
Aprameya, I'm Praful, I'm editor of Organizer. Yeah, just a sec.
Yeah.
2 points.
Yes.
One is, now maybe after coup, but Twitter has also started giving this regional, I won't call them regional, other Indian languages option. And that is also growing very fast. So the uniqueness that you had. Now, you are also talking about the WhatsApp or Facebook. On coup also you give option share on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So ultimately you are diverting, your audience also to the same platforms. Can we have something integrated where people will come and share on multiple platforms by creating one message? Means technologically, are you thinking on those lines? And considering the future, because AI is going to determine all these things once you grow, how are you planning to make coup a really open, global, and still truly Indian platform?
Yeah. No, so on your point of, languages by other platforms, see, it's not just about allowing you to type in a language. That's not what we've done. We've actually enabled communities in those languages and enabled distribution to those communities for a creator. That is the architectural difference between us and any other social media. For you to be able to type in English, translate to Hindi, and then project Hindi to Hindi and English to English is unavailable anywhere else. And that is, core to what the language innovation is about. And, the whole aspect of what the world needs in social media today is respect for their own country, respect for how their country operates, their local languages, their cultures, respect for the creator and user in terms of distributing whatever I'm making a little bit to them as well. So all of these 3 aspects that I spoke about are first time in social media, right? On an open network, local language distribution of content is unavailable anywhere else. So I think we're on the right path and we're growing very, very rapidly. So hopefully we'll be able to meet again in a year or so and say, okay, we're actually bigger. Thank you.